I've just made my biggest mistake in my poker career, and it happened in my very last sessions in Texas. Today, I'll show you exactly how it went down and reveal my first 3 months results of this journey. So far, we've gone from Hong Kong to LA to Vegas to Texas, and next week, I'm heading to Florida, where I've heard the games are insane. So now, let's jump into the sessions.
Bet it on me, let it ride. Broke white boy, put it all on the line. Lucky me, lit the Sin City on fire. Money on the floor, watch it double 10 times. Bet it on me, let it ride.
Alright, first session in this episode, and we're playing 2-5 at TCH Social Las Colinas, so let's get started. Straddles on, we open to $40 in the cutoff with King Jack of Hearts. Big blind makes it to 105. The 3-bet size is not big, we are pretty deep, so we put in a call. Flop comes 10-7 deals with 2 hearts. And interestingly, big blind bets $150 in the dark. So what does that mean? That means his hand is pretty strong, right? He can have hands like jacks, queens, kings, aces, and I don't think he would bet in the dark with ace-king because he would need to see the flop to bet, right? So the pot is now 222. We have a flush draw, so we put in a call. Turns a 6 of club, and he now bets $225. It's about a half pot size bet. He still got $1,000 behind, so the odds are good. We still got some implied odds, so we call. Reverse the deuce of diamonds. We didn't hit our draw, and he goes all in for $1,000 effective. Nothing we can do here, and we fold, and we lose the first pot of the day. Next hand here, the straddle still on. We open to $50 in the low jack with ace-king offsuit. Straddle calls, heads up to a flop of 7-6 deuce with 2 spades. When he checks it over in a single raise pot in position, I'm just range betting small. I bet $50 into 100 and he calls. Turns a 5 of clubs, and interestingly, he donks $125 into 200. So what is his range? I think he can make some 2 pairs like 5-6, and also he might just hit the straight with 9-8 or 4-3 because he completes on the straddle. So for our hand, even if an ace or king hit the river, we might not be good, so I just elect to fold right here. Moving on to the next hand, button open to $30 and we complete on the big blind with ace-jack offsuit. Flop comes queen 5-3 rainbow. We check it over and he checks it back. Turns a 6 of clubs, so what is his range? When he checked back the flop, I think he got some showdown value like pocket 10s, pocket 8s, some 5x, or maybe hands like ace-king or ace-jack. So for our hand here, I think I still have some showdown value versus ace-10, and maybe hands like king-jack, so I like to check. And now button bets $50 into 62, so what is his range now? I think he maybe start betting with pocket pairs, some 6x, and for his bluffs, maybe he turns some equity with hands like 7-8 or 10-9. So I like to call and reverse a jack of spades. I think I could consider donking here, targeting hands like 10s, 9s, 8s, because those hands will just check back the river. But honestly, I didn't go through this option in game. I check it over and he checks it back. We show our hand and we are good. Next hand here, the straddle's on. We open to $30 in the cutoff with king queen offsuit. Big blind and straddle call, so we have 3 ways to a flop of queen 10-3 rainbow. They check to us in a multi-way pot. I'm just betting my good hands and good draws, so I bet $30 into 92 and they both call. Turns a 3 of spades, so what are their range? I think when they call the flop, they may have some 10x, some queen x, and also I think they could have some 3s. And on the other hand, the straddle's a pro. He could use this 3 to turn his hand into a bluff. I don't want to face a check raise here, so I elect to check it back. We're still 3 ways to a river, which comes another queen of clubs. They both check to us, so what is their range? I think they got some showdown value hands like 10x, and some break draws are not gonna call any amount. And also, when the top card paired, I think their showdown value hand are more sticky because they would think like, Oh, another queen's come. That means it reduces the chances that we having the queen. So actually in this spot, I don't think going small is the option. I like to bet big. I bet $200 into 182. I think it's still a little bit too small. If I could redo this, I may bet like 250 to 300. Because in this spot, just ask yourself the inverse question, how much would you bet to fold out a 10? I may need to go 350 or 300 to fold out a 10. But anyway, big blind fold, straddle tanks for a while, and finally he puts in a call. We table our hand and we are good. Big pot alert. In this hand, the straddle's on. We open the $50 in the low jack with ace king of clubs. Pretty good hand. But then big blind straddle call, so we are 4 ways to a flop of 6-4-4 with 2 diamonds. In a multi-way pot, I'm just betting my good hands and good draws, so I check and the flop goes check through. Turns an ace of hearts. Big blind and straddle check. At this point, I would like to start value betting. Targeting hands like pocket pairs, some straight draws, and some flush draws. I bet $150 into 202. Button folds, big blind calls, and interestingly, straddle makes it to $550. So who is he? He's just splashing around on the table. So for our hand here, it's too soon for us to fold. Normally versus a passive or recreational players in this spot, I would just fold my hands because I don't think they are going to raise with their flush draws or straight draws. They always have 6s or a 4 here, but not this guy. So I like to call. Big blind folds, so we heads up to the river, which comes a 7 of diamonds. The front door flush completes, and now big blind goes all in for $1,200 effective. So what is his range? When he check raised the turn, I think he got some equity bluffs like flush draws. So now the flush completes on the river. I think our hand is no longer good, so I elect to mock it. And it shows us queen 3 of spades, and he says,
put that one on the blog.
What can we do about that? But you know what I took away from this hand is now people recognize me. Now they want to be on the flock. So they are going to play out of line sometimes. So I need to categorize and find those people as soon as possible. And maybe call lighter when they show aggression. I might trap them some more and let them put the money in for us.
It's coaching time.
This is a good fold, and sometimes we just have to distance the process from the results. Why did he show you the bluff?
You want to get paid next time. You want to be on the flop too.
Yeah. So like next time, is he going to be bluffing?
No.
The next 5 times, is he going to be bluffing?
Maybe one.
Maybe once. All right. So what does that mean? If he's bluffing 1 out of 5 times, what does that mean about our fold?
That means we're winning money.
He showed queen 3. What the hell? Like, does that mean he's over bluffing? No. He got a wild stick up his ass and decided to bluff you his one time. This was this guy's bluff for the week. It was his one bluff for the week, and you got unlucky. It was against you, and it happened to be because you're filming, and it's gonna be on the vlog. We're printing by folding.
All right, next hand here, and we are playing against the same villain. He opened the $30 in the early position, and we 3-bet in the hijack with queen 8 of diamonds. He calls, so we heads up to a flop of jack 10-5 rainbow. He checks to us in a 3-bet pot in position. I am range betting small. I bet $80 into 257, and surprisingly, he check raised again to $400. So what is his range? I mean, the last hand he check raised with air. I don't think he is going to do it again that soon. And why they're showing us the bluff? Because they are under bluff. So I like to fold. I don't want to see him showing the cards. I don't want him to say he want to be on the flock again. And this time he didn't show his hand, so that means he have it. All right, in the next hand, under the gun open to $20, and we call on the small blind with king jack offsuit. Normally I would just fold this hand in a small blind, but this time the big blind doesn't seem interested calling. He looks at his phone all the time, so I just treat myself as the big blind. Anyway, we call, so we heads up to a flop of jack 10-3 with 2 diamonds. We check it to him, and he checks it back. Turns an ace of diamonds, completing the front door flush. We check it over, and he bets $20 into 45. So what is his range? I think when he checks back the flop, he has hands like ace king, ace queen, and also some 10x or pocket 9s, pocket 8s. But the most important thing here, does he have a flush? I don't think so, because normally people will just c-bet their flush draws when they are the aggressor. And we have the king of diamonds, we have plenty of equity, so when he does not have a flush, I elect to put in a check raise here. I check raise to $175, targeting him to call once with his ace, because with the stack depth we have, I'm confident that I can push the ace off on the river, but unfortunately he folds. Alright, last hand of the session, we open to $20 in the cutoff with 10-8 of diamonds. Small blind calls, heads up to a flop of 10-5 deuce rainbow. He checks it over in a single raise pot in position. I'm range betting small. I bet $20 into 45 and he calls. Turns a 9 of diamonds, so what is his range? I think he could have some 10x, some straight draws like ace 3, ace 4. It may be too thin to value bet here because he could have hands like jack 10, queen 10, king 10, or ace 10. And also the 9 on the turn may makes him 2 pair. So I think checking here is better because he may bluff with his misread draw on the river. So we checks it back and river's a king of hearts. He checks it over, so what does that mean? That means he doesn't have king 10. He might still have some 10x or 5x. So I would like to value bet on this river, but the point here is we need to go really small, because when we bet big, maybe the hand he's going to call us is only queen 10, ace 10, or jack 10. I'm targeting 5x here because I don't think my kicker of my pair of 10s is gonna win him, so I bet $10 into 85. He puts in a call, we table our hand, and we are good. Hey guys, just finished the first session of this episode. It's a bad one. As you see, people start doing weird things on me. To be honest, it's kind of tough. I don't know, but I think this kind of thing has its pros and cons. But I'm gonna spend some time to figure out how should I adjust and get advantage from this phenomenon. Anyway, for the result, we lost $1,500 in 5 hours. Marco will put my total results here. Thank you, Marco. Have a good night, guys. On to the next session. Alright, second session here, and we are playing 2-5 at TCH Social Las Colinas, so let's get started. First hand, we are playing double board, PLO, bump pot, and we have Jack, 5-5. First board is Ace, Queen 7, and the second board is Ace, Jack 5. We have 2 sets on one board. Flop go checks through, turns a 6 of spades on board 1 and a 3 of spades on board 2. Small blind bet $60, big blind and low jack calls. We only lose to pocket aces, so we put in a call, button call 2, so we have 5 ways to the river, which comes a queen of club on board 1 and an 8 of hearts on board 2. Small blind continue to bet $350. Big blind calls, so actions on us. I mean, I can't really think of the hands we are losing on that board except aces. And also from the actions, there's multiple players calling. I think they could have hands like ace queen. And there is only one combo of aces, so we put in a call, and interestingly, button now raised to $1,750. Small blind and big blind both call, so what are their range? I don't think any of them have aces, because if they have aces, not that many people call, so I think 2 of them have ace queen, and the other player may have pocket 8 or queen 7. So I put in a call because I don't think I'm going to lose on the second board, and button tables ace queen 8-7. He have a boat on the first board. Small blind also tables his ace queen, and you know what? Big blind tables 4 deuce, and I immediately realized that I made a terrible mistake. I missed the wheel on the second board. I didn't figure out that there is a straight out there, and I just made my biggest mistake of my poker career, misreading the board, missed the wheel, and it cost me $1,500. What is going on with me? Alright, moving on to the next hand here. We open to $20 in the early position with 9-8 of hearts. Low jack, small blind, and big blind calls, so we have 4 ways to a flop of ace, king, queen, rainbow. Small blind, big blind check in a multi-way pot. I am just betting my strong hands and strong draws. 9 high doesn't fall into the category to bet for me, so I check, and low jack checks it back. Turns an ace of club. Small blind, big blind checks it over, so what is their range? I don't think anybody have an ace here. I don't think anybody have jack 10 a straight here, so I would like to start bluffing here. I bet $30 into $80, and we get it through. Alright, next hand here, low jack open to $15, hijack calls, we look down at king queen offsuit in the cutoff and we 3-bet to $100. Low jack calls and we heads up to a flop of king 9-8 rainbow. Low jack checks it over. In a 3-bet pot in position, I'm just betting small. I bet $75 into 2-2-2 and low jack calls. Turns a jack of spades. Bring in a backdoor flush draw. He checks it over, so what is his range? I think he can have some showdown value hand like king X, 9X. So on this turn, bring in a backdoor flush draw. I think he got many inelastic hands. Hands like king X of spades, 9X of spades, and also there are many pair plus straight draws. Hands like queen jack, queen 10, 9-10. Yeah, queen 10 gets there, but we have a queen in our hand that reduces the chances that he has queen 10. So on this turn, I would like to go big, targeting the inelastic portion of his range. I bet $450 into 372, but unfortunately, he folds. In this hand, +1 open to $15. EP calls, small blind calls. We look down at king 4 suited in the big blind. We put in a call, so 4 ways to a flop of 10, 6, 4, monotone, 3 hearts. Flop goes check through. Turns an ace of club. Small blind check, not much reason for us to bet here, so we check it over and it goes check through again. And rivers another 4 of diamonds. Small blind now bets $45 into 60. So what is his range? I don't think he has a flush because a flush would start leading the turn. So I think he got hands like ace X. And I asked myself the inverse question, how much would I raise to fold out an ace? Probably I would go like 5x, about $225 to $250. So I sized down to $180, targeting his ace-X to call, +1 and EP folds. Eventually, he puts in a call, we table a hand, and he shows 4-3, and we both hit a trips on the river, and we take down a sweet little pot. Alright, last hand of this session, we open to $25 undergun with pocket kings. EP, hijack, small blind, big blind call, so we have 5 ways to a flop. Flop comes queen, jack, 7, rainbow. Small blind, big blind check it over to us. We still got 2 players behind us. I think this flop is gonna be overstepping, so I check it to him, but unfortunately they check back. Turns a 4 of hearts, and now small blind leads $75 into 125. Big blind folds sections on us in a 5 ways pot. He used a big sizing, betting first to act. Actually, I'm quite squeamish about our pocket kings here. So what is his range? When he chooses this big size in a multi-way pot, I think he can have some 2 pairs like queen jack, or even sets like pocket 7s or pocket 4s, but also he might just have hands like king queen, ace queen. It's still too soon to fold our overpair here, so we put in a call. Hijack calls also, so we have 3 ways to a river, which comes a 10 of clubs. Small blind checks, we check it to the hijack who bets $175, about a half pot size bet. Small blind calls. At this point, I don't think our hand is ever good here. But what if we raise? I don't think anybody has ace king here, but because our opponent are not that deep, I don't think they are capable of folding 2 pair, so I elect to fold, and let's see what they got. Hijack tables 10-9 of hearts, just a pair of 10, and small blind tables queen 4 of diamonds. He have a 2 pair and he take the pot down. So the lesson here is when they leads out in a multi-way pot, using a relatively big sizing, they always have a strong hand. I made a terrible mistake that cost me thousands. I misread the board of PLO bomb pot. Come on, man. I don't know, but it happens. For this session, I lost $1,300 in 5 hours, and that bomb pot cost me $1,500. Life goes on. Marco will put my total results here. Thank you, Marco. Have a good night, guys. So moving on to the third session, and we are still playing 2-5 at TCH. This is literally the first hand that we set down. We haven't have our phone stand set up yet, not recording yet, but this pot is big and huge, so I would like to show you guys. We opened to $25 in middle position with king jack suited. Hijack and small blind call, so we have 3 ways to a flop of ace 10-9 rainbow. Small blind checks it over in a multi-way pot. I'm just betting my good hands and good draws. So I like to check it over and hijack checks it back. Turns a bang! A queen of diamonds. We made the nut. And small blind leads out for $75 into $80. So what is his range? Like the previous hand we went through when they bet big in a multi-way pot, they have a strong hand. So he can have hands like ace 10, ace queen, queen 10, queen 9, or sort of two pairs. So for our nuts here, of course we're going to pile in a lot of money. I don't think two pairs folding, so I raise it to 375. That's a big raise, but anyway, they are not going to fold two pair. Hijack folds and small blind calls. River's 9 of spades. The pot is now $830. He got about $470 behind. So while I was thinking how long should I tank to put all the money in, he donks for $200. So what is his range? Yes, he might hit some full house on the river with 10-9 or queen 9 or ace 9. But come on, I don't think a full house is donking $200 instead of putting all the money in. So I go all in, putting $470 in there, and he finds the call and we show our hand. Of course we win. Second hand here, low jack open to $20 and we look down at ace 3 suited in the hijack. Versus for crucial players, my strategy is to 3-bet or fold. With 3-bet to $75 and interestingly button 4-bet to $175. Low jack folds actions on us, I think. Versus this 4-betting size, just $100 on top. I don't want to fold my hand yet. And also I think he plays face up post flop, so maybe in some flops when they miss their ace king or ace queen, I can just bluff him off. So we put in a call, heads up to a flop of 10-9-8 with 2 clubs. Well, this is the flop I'm looking for. We check it over and he checks it back. Turns a 7 of diamonds, 1 card straight on board. So what is his range? I think when he checks back the flop, I think for this player, if he has aces or kings or queens, he may still see bet this flop. He's not that board aware. So when he checks it back on the flop, I just think he has hands like ace king or ace queen. So I would like to start bluffing here. I bet $125 into 377, and surprisingly he raised to $300. So what does that mean? What is his range? I think the only hand he can have here is jacks. So not much we can do with our hand, and I fold.
It's coaching time.
Just a pre-flop spot. When the button cold 4-bets and we have ace 3, let's fold, please.
But I mean, it's so cheap, and I think
Yeah.
I can just win on some board like this.
And you won on this board, right?
I thought I won. Maybe if I want to call, I would choose some 5-6 suited.
Yeah, much better. Problem with this hand is like you're up against a range that is ace king, aces, kings, and queens, and jacks. That hand does not play well against that range. I just much rather have 5-6 suited.
Alright, moving on to the next hand, we put the straddle on for $10, fold all the way to the big blind who limps. We make it $40 in the straddle with queen 10 offsuit. Big blind calls and we heads up to a flop of king jack 6 with 2 spades. He checks it over in a single raise pot in position. I'm range betting small. I bet $40 into 82 and he calls. Turns a 7 of spades. He checks it over. So what is his range? I think on this wet dynamic board, if he has hands like king, jack, pocket sixes, he is going to raise. So I think he has one pair type hand like king X, jack X, 6-6, and also he has bunch of flush draws. So when the flush completes on the turn, I would like to bet small because when he faces small size, he will just raise his flushes. If he didn't raise, we have the green light to bluff him off on the river. I bet $60 into 162 and he calls. River's a 5 of spades. It's a full flush board now. He checks it over. So what is his range? I still think one pair type hand is calling our small bet on the turn. So for our hand on this river, we just have the 10 high flush. We could possibly lose to jack high flush or queen high flush. But I still want to squeeze out a little bit more value versus his worst flush or one pair type hand. So I bet $25 into 282 and I start talking. Please call. Maybe it's too cheap. Maybe he listens to us. Anyway, he puts in the call. We table our hand and we are good. suit. In this hand, the straddle's on. We open to $40 in early position with King Jack suited. Button, big blind, straddle come along, so we are 4 ways to a flop of 10-4 deuce with 2 spades. Big blind and straddle checks it over. In a multi-way pot, I'm betting my good hands and good draws. We have a flush draw here. If I could redo it, I would put in a bet here. But in game, I did check it to the button, who bets $100 into 162. Big blind and straddle fold, so what is his range? When he chooses a big size in a multi-way pot, he has a strong hands. Hands like pocket fours, pocket deuces, so I don't really think check raising here can generate fold equity. So we put in a call and turns 9 of diamonds. We check it to the button who checks it back. River's a deuce of hearts, so what is his range? When he bets big on the flop, checking back the turn, I think he doesn't have pocket fours or pocket deuces, probably hands like 10x or some ace high flush draw. So actually I can see some merit of betting small here, targeting to fold up better draws like ace x of spades. But in game I missed that chance. I check it over to him and he bets $350. We have king high, we can call, but for the line that he takes, I think he has ace deuce of spades. He got a pair plus the nut flush draw on the flop, betting big because the equity is high, checking back the turn, realizing the river, and he hit a trips on the river. But anyway, not much we can do with our king high here, and we fold. Alright, in this hand, we open to $25 in the low jack with ace 6 suited. Small blind and big blind call, so we have 3 ways to a flop of ace jack 10 with 2 hearts. They check it over. In a multi-way pot, I am betting my good hands and good draws. I think on this kind of board, there are many hands that I can get value from. Flush draws, straight draws, jack X. So I bet $40 into 75. Only the big blind call, so we heads up to the turn, which comes to 9 of spades. He checks it over, so what is his range? When he didn't check raise on the flop, he doesn't have king queen. Yes, he could have some ace-x that outkicked us, but I still think betting here, charging the flush draws is a good play. So I bet $75 into 155, but unfortunately he folds. In this hand, hijack opened to $20 and we look down at ace 3 of diamonds in the small blind. Normally I would just 3-bet this hand, but the big blind is a well. I want to call here to let him join the party, so we put in a call. Big blind comes also, so we have 3 ways to a flop of 5 deuce with 2 diamonds. We have a monster draw here. We check it over to the hijack who bets $30 into 60. So what is his range? I think he could be betting ace king, ace queen, king high, jack high. Many bluffs here, but also he still have a bunch of over pairs. When our hand has very high equity, we don't need much fold equity. So I put in a big check raise to $400, setting up a turn all in. But this time they all fold and we get it through. Next hand here, under the gun open to $20, low jack calls. We look down at pocket 9s in the hijack. This under the gun players open pretty tight, so I don't really want to put in a 3-bet here. I just flat, cut off and big blind come along, so we have 5 ways to a flop of 7, 6, 5 with 2 diamonds. Under the gun and low jack checks it over, actions on us. What is their range? I think when under the gun checks, he doesn't have that much over pairs, and when low jack checks, he doesn't have sets, he doesn't have straights. So actually it's a pretty good spot to put in a bet, targeting hands like straight draws or flush draws. But in game, I missed that and I check it over to the cutoff who checks it back. Turns a bang! A 9 of spades. Big blind under the gun and low jack checks. On this one-liner straightened board, we have the top set. In game, I like to check because I think cutoff can have some straights here. But actually, we are pretty deep. Even if he has a straight, we can still call a raise. But as played, we check, which is pretty terrible, and cutoff checks it back. River's a 7 of spades. We have the top full house now. They all check to us, so what are their range? I think if they have a straight or even trips of 7s, they would bet here. So with the top full house, I don't want to bet big because their range is just so weak. I like to bet $25 into 100, cutoff and under the gun call. We table a hand and we are good, and I think the coaching time is coming.
It's coaching time.
Checks to us on the flop.
Bet.
I don't need to say anymore. Just bet.
I don't know, just one player behind us. Yeah, there's many things that I can get value from.
You just bet. We go to the turn. Once it checks to us again, bet.
They don't have 8.
Like,
if the cutoff have an 8, I can still call.
Think about all the 2 pair you can now be getting value from.
All right, I hate this.
Yeah, I mean, like, they just have a bunch of 2 pair diamond draws. You could just get a ton of value here. And if someone does wake up with an 8 and check raises you, well, you've got a shit ton of stack depth behind. You can call, and then you can boat up on the river and stack their 8. When we can set overset people, or they can have like smaller 2 pair and we have top set on like a 1-liner on the turn, just bet. Because like we could get so much value from worse when we have top set here.
On the flop, I thought under the gun's range is still like he can have aces and kings. That's the reason why I didn't bet. But what is he gonna do with aces and kings? Is calling?
Call.
Yeah, he's just calling.
Call. And then like if you think he has aces and kings, like
Yeah, we
and
can-
just he calls, you can check back the turn.
Many options.
Many options, yeah. Keep your options open.
Big pot alert! In this hand, we are playing double board PLO bump pot, and we have ace 10 8 8. Board 1 comes queen 9 3 3 clubs, and we have the nuts right now. Second board is 9 5 5. I bet pot without nuts here. Only the small blind calls, so we heads up to the turn, which comes a king of hearts on board 1 and a 4 of hearts on board 2. We still have the nuts on the first board, so I bet pot again, and interestingly, small blind check raise to $900. Of course, we have the nuts here. He only got about $100 behind, so we put it all in, $1,000 effective. He calls. Rivers and 8 of clubs on board 1. We still have the nuts and the 3 of hearts on board 2. We show our hand and he shows king 6 5 deals, a full house on the second board, and we chop this one up. Second last hand of the session, we opened to $25 in early position with 6 5 of hearts and cut off 3-bet to $75. We open a suited connector. I'm not folding to a 3-bet. We are pretty deep, so we call. Heads up to a flop of queen 4 with 2 diamonds. We check it over and he checks it back. Turns an 8 of diamonds, so what is his range? I think he can have hands like ace king, ace jack, and at the same time, I think his overpairs like pocket aces and pocket kings are c-betting the flop. So maybe he has hands like pocket jacks, pocket tens, pocket nines. So I would like to start bluffing here. Let his underpairs call one more barrel and bluff him off on the river. I bet $75 into 157 and he calls. River's another 8 of clubs, so what is his range? As I mentioned, he has a lot of underpairs like pocket tens, pocket nines, so I asked myself the first question, how much should I bet to get called from underpairs? Probably I need to go really small, like $100 on this double pairing board. So I size up to $200, targeting to fold out his underpairs. Oh, and surprisingly he raised to $600. With 6 high here, we cannot call. The only hand he is raising here is a queen, so we cannot raise. I just fold, and he shows us ace queen offsuit. Alright, last hand of the session. Under the gun limbs, we look down at Freddie Mercury in the +1 and we ISO to $30. Button, big blind, under the gun call, so we're 4 ways to a flop of Jack 7-6 rainbow. Check all the way to us. In a multi-way pot, I'm betting my good hands and good draws. But if there is multiple players behind us and the board is going to be overstepping, I would like to check it. But in this hand, only one player behind us. Actually, I think it's good to put in a bet, but in game, I like to check it over, and unfortunately, button checks it back. Turns a 4 of diamonds, big blind check, and now under gun leads $70 into 122. So when a player chooses this big size in a multi-way pot, 4 ways, he has a good hand. So I like to call, button and big blind fold, so we heads up to the river, which comes a deuce of club. And now under the gun bets $150 into 262. So what is his range? I think he can make some 2 pairs like 7-6, 6-4, or even some sets. So I like to just call, and he tables ace 8 of clubs. He was bluffing and we win the last hand of this session. Hey guys, just finished a session at T6 Social. Today we win $500 and some change in 8 hours. Marco will put my total results here. Thank you, Marco. Tomorrow we are going to another TCH in Dallas. So I'll see you guys there. Have a good night. Alright, last session in this episode, and we're playing 1-2 at the Hideaway Poker Club. First hand here, the straddle's on, hijack limps, we ISO to $25 on the button with Jack 10 of diamonds. Only the big blind calls, so we heads up to a flop of 7-7 deuce. He checks it over in a single raise pot in position. I'm starting by range betting small. I bet $20 into 60 and he calls. Turns the king of diamonds, he checks it over, so what is his range? When the flop is a top card paired, I don't think he is raising his trips that often, so I would like to put in a small bet again, make sure he's raising his 7x. And also, if he has hands like pocket sixes, pocket fives, when the king comes on the turn, those hands are folding. So I bet $40 into 99 and he folds. Big pot alert in 1-2. We straddle on the button. In this game, the button is absolute last to act, so hijack and button call. We look down at ace deuce offsuit on the button, we check, so 3 ways to a flop of ace 9-9 with 2 clubs. Big blind check, hijack bets $11 into 13. We have a top pair, we ain't going anywhere yet, so we put it a call. Big blind fold, so we heads up to the turn, which comes a 4 of clubs. So when hijack checks it over, what is his range? I think if he's betting his flush draws on the flop, when the flush completes on the turn, he will start continue betting. So when he checks on the turn, he got some ace X or trips of 9s. Although we have a top pair here, we got kicker problem, so I would like to turn our hand into a bluff wrapping the flush. So I bet $50 into 35 and he calls. River's a 5 of diamonds. He checks it over, nothing really changed on the board. We got a chunky overbet size behind, so I would like to put it all in, targeting to fold out better aces or trips of 9s. I go all in, $371 into 135, and surprisingly he snaps us off. We table our hand and he shows king jack of clubs. He bet the flop with a flush draw, and when the flush completes on the turn, he checks it to us. Well, in general, I don't think players play like this, but I'm gonna to make notes on this specific players who play tricky. So next hand here, we straddle on the button to $4, under the gun open to $20, hijack and big blind call. We look down at JJ Barea on the button, and we 3-bet to 125. Only the big blind calls, and we heads up to a flop of Queen 5 deuce with 2 diamonds. He checks it over. The pot is now $291. I think he got $40 behind. I don't really know the exact amount, so I think I put him all in, but actually not. I bet $35 and he calls, and I find out he still have $8 behind. Turns a 4 of hearts. He checks it over. I'm not gonna explain his range because he just got $8 behind and the pot is 360 something. I put him all in. He calls. Rivers another queen of spades, so we show our hand and we are good. Next hand here, we open to $15 in the hijack with pocket sixes. Small blind calls, heads up to a flop of jack 3 deuce with 2 spades. He checks it over in a single raise pot in position. I'm just range betting small. I bet $15 into 32 and he calls. Turns a 7 of diamonds. He checks it over, so what is his range? He can have some flush draws, some jack X. So for our hand, I have showdown value here, so I elect to check it back. Rivers another jack of clubs. He checks it over, so what is his range? I don't think he has a jack here because a jack is always going to lead this river, but I still want to squeeze out a little bit more value versus 3x or deuce x or ace high. The pot is 62. I bet $15. He calls. We show our hand and we are good. Alright, in this hand we are playing a game called Regret. That means we start with 4 cards, and every street we need to muck 1 card face up. We straddle on the button to $5. They all limp, and we look down at ace king king 4. I think it's a pretty good hand using my hold'em sense, so we raise it up to $55. Small blind, EP, and cutoff call, so we have 4 ways to a flop of ace 9 5 rainbow. They all check to us. We have ace king here, so I bet $100. Small blind and EP fold, and now cutoff all in for $350. It's not that comfortable here because what hands are going to all in? He may hit some 2 pairs like ace 9 or sets like pocket 9s or pocket 5s, but with only $250 on top, I elect to call it off. So we're heads up, all in, and of course on the flop, I'm going to muck my 4 of diamonds. And turns a beautiful king of clubs. We hit the middle set. So on the turn, I'm mucking my ace of clubs. And rivers a 3 of clubs. We show our hand and we are good. Next hand here, the straddles on the button. Undergun limps, EP open to $20, and we 3-bet in the hijack with Jack 10 suited. Only the EP calls, so we heads up to the flop of ace, queen, 5 rainbow. In a 3-bet pot in position, when he checks it over to us, I would like to range bet small. I bet $50 into 161 and he calls. Turns a 4 of spades. He checks it over, so what is his range? I think he can have ace X, queen X, some underpairs like pocket jacks, pocket 10s, pocket 9s. So on this turn, I would like to put in a bet to fold out underpair and give up on the river because I don't think this player is folding an ace. So I bet $200 into 261, targeting to fold out underpairs, but unfortunately he calls. River's a 4 of clubs, so what is his range? I mean, when he call out bets on the turn, I'm pretty sure he is continuing with a pair of ace, and this player is not folding his ace X, so stick to our plan. I gave up and check it down. He shows ace 7 of clubs and we lose this pot. Alright, last hand in this Hideaway poker club. We open to $15 in early position with ace jack offsuit, low jack, high jack, cutoff, and small blind call. We have 5 ways to a flop. This is the low stakes game. Many multi-way pots. I really don't like it. But anyway, flop comes queen jack 4 with 2 spades. In a multi-way pot, a lot of players behind us. I'm just checking my range. And it goes check through. Turns an ace of spades, completing a frontal flush and also making us the 2 pair. Small blind, and we check to the low jack who bets $20 into 77. Everybody else folds, so what is his range? I don't think he has a flush here because I don't think a flush is betting that small. So maybe he has hands like ace X, and he only got about $90 behind. I don't think he is folding his ace, so we put the money in. He calls, rivers a queen of clubs, and he tables king 10, which hits a straight on the turn, and we lose the final pot in this poker room. Hey guys, today I was going to play it at TCH Dallas trying to get some new footage for you guys. But after 2 hours of playing, the power went off. They get everybody out of the room, but my chips are still on the table. But I need to get back later tonight to do the cash out. So I went to another poker room called the Hideaway Poker Club. I really enjoy playing there, a pretty chill room. I play 6 hours and break even. So after that, I went back to TCH Dallas, get my chips back, do the cash out. After I've done all this, I get back to my car, ready to drive back home. But suddenly, I want to play some poker again. So I get on the 1-2 table, and it all comes down to one last hand, the finale of my Texas journey. Let's watch. Alright, last hand in Texas. The final hand that we play, and it all comes down to this. EP limps, we look down at ace king offsuit in the low jack and we ISO to $25. High jack 3-bet to $75, and surprisingly big blind moves all in for $150. We got about $560 behind. With ace king here, we are not going to call, so we ship it, putting every last chip in the pot in this final hand in Texas. Hijack tanks, and finally puts in the call as well. So we have 3 ways all in. I flip over our ace king, hijack shows pocket 10s, and the big blind has queen 9 of clubs. Come on dealer, give us this last pot in Texas. Flop comes king 6-5 with 3 diamonds. We are ahead and turns the deuce of diamonds. Look at the sweet baby there. We hit the nut flush, rivers and 8s, and we take down a final pot in Dallas, Texas. So for today, I win $300 playing 9 hours in different card rooms. It's always weird to lock up one final win before I leave this place, so yeah, pretty good. And this is the end of my Texas journey. I'll see you guys in Florida.